We work good together.
No, you know what? Yeah, I think I was too slow. I was not engaging enough. They're giving me a wingman, a more exciting wingman.
So can we start by having you tell us your name and what you do?
You first.
My name is Wes Chatham, and I play Amos Burton.
That's a cool name.
I like that name a lot. Yeah. And you know what's interesting is it's not his real name.
This is true. We find out later on.
Yeah.
We have a book reader.
See, somebody's a book reader. Yeah, I know. That's it.
Sure. I'm Hawk Ostby. I'm the writer and executive producer.
Yeah,
One of them. I'm
absolutely.
the co-writer and co.
It's funny that you say that because
You can answer the question. Does Amos, I might say the name.
Yes. Does he live up to the Amos?
Yeah.
Amos. Yes. Very, very definitely so. I will. Of course, when we first looked at you, we went, no, that's not Amos.
right.
But no, when you came in and did your reading, there was a very strong sense that we were looking at Amos Burton, and there was something, you just, I was trying to sort of define it, but I think there's something about when you smile, there's a bit of a wildness in your smile, and you're not quite sure if he's going to hug you or punch you.
Right.
And exactly, and he has that sort of uneasy kind of, you're not quite sure, but you have a very, I think a very, sort of a lovable energy, yet there's something not quite right. Yeah, exactly. And he could really hurt you and not think twice about it. And how tight am I actually with this guy? When you're trying to gauge that.
What I thought was really interesting about this is the first thing that I've been a part of that I was a fan before I started working with it. And so I was at Comic-Con last year, and I heard about the books through a friend. They were just telling me about the books, and I remember going home and I started reading the books, and I was about halfway through it, and Amos was my favorite character. I thought he was so interesting, and so when they told me about the show and that they were getting ready to do the show, and I was like, I know they're not gonna think. I was like, they have to see me for Amos, because I didn't know what they're going. And I was like, I know they might not think it at first, but that I am playing Amos. Yeah, and so. And the great thing is that I got to do a reading of it before they met me, because Amos is so different from me that I got to show him what I was, how well I understood Amos, because I'm a fan of, just because I'm such a fan of it, and I want to honor that, because and so yeah, thank God. Yeah. That's a great question. Well, because what I take the question out of this first is because what's interesting about Amos is he doesn't have the ability to connect emotionally, to be able to see if somebody's mad, angry. He doesn't have that intelligence. So to prepare for that, to get in that, because we do so many things socially. Even right now, you're listening to me, you're smiling. So we do so many things to make it not awkward, to make things socially connect and make sense. But Amos doesn't have those things. So in preparation, I had to let all the things that I do to make things pleasant, or to the social lubricant that we do, I had to get rid of all those things and experience those.
Sorry, is that with Amos as a character, as well as Naomi and Alex, you don't have a chapter. It's not a Holden point of view.
Right.
So you only see you through everyone else's reactions with you, and it's exactly that. People react and say, "Well, Amos is standing there very casually by the door with a giant gun. He looks like he's not paying attention," but they know in a second everyone could be on the floor.
Right.
It's that kind of reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And Amos does has a novella, which is which is really great. It's a wonderful backstory.
We know the name.
We do a little bit, and that's the thing I was just saying earlier, that it's, one of the things about adapting this, it's such a rich and immersive world, and we love the book so much, and how do you, transferring it from a book into a screen with the limitations and the added things you get, how do you not screw it up, and how do you get those little gems in there? For example, the Epstein drive. Do you remember that? And if you stare out into space, you can still see the guy who invented the Epstein drive. He's like on a, and that's such a really cool thing. And how do you get it in there without, but making it sort of an organic edition rather than having two people talk about it? Hey, that guy Epstein, he's still up there, or somebody looking through a scope. And so we try to do. Here and there, we do a little structural kind of shifts where we pick up a little bit of a backstory and then slip you into the.
And Kaz also said that that from his perspective, looking at the series, reading the books too, as much as he has, because he wants to be spoiler-free, that it's a future that is really scarily plausible. You know, it's like you see so much sci-fi, like Star Trek, and it's so far in the future, everyone's like almost uniformed and standardized, whereas this is, like you said, very organic, and there's conflict still, there's race and colonies, and
that's exactly what drew us to it. The moment we put the book down, it was like, this is what we've been looking for, because so much of the sci-fi that we have read becomes lost in the technology. It's more about the coolness of the technology, and the people get lost in and this was about people. It was about where we are now and where we're going to be, and you're right. It was space seen through the eyes of a truck driver and a beat cop, which you'd never really kind of seen. I mean, in space, everybody wore the same uniform, and you have people making these grand speeches, and here you got a bunch of guys who are worried about.
And to Hawk's credit, so because I was a fan of it, and I was a little bit skeptical when they sent a script, because there's been so many times that you guys have probably loved books, and they turn it, they lose it. They lose what makes it special. But when I read the script, I was blown away, because it captured and it realized it in its highest level of what it could be on screen. And so I feel like it fulfilled its highest potential in service to that. So I was really excited, but they did a great job of bringing it together.
Those $20 I paid you.
So what is you were just talking about something I was going to ask, was the challenge to highlight character over entry and all that kind of stuff. How do you keep that going and not lose the character?
Wait, you mean to
how do you keep the characters in the forefront and the character studies in the forefront? Is that something that you're always?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that's the listen, when you work in TV, we don't have $220 million and 40 days to shoot one scene. You can never match sort of some of the Interstellar or some of the things, but that's not really what we're doing. I mean, TV is the great thing about it for us is it's an intimate experience. It does. You can have characters. It's not a 40-foot screen anyway, where you're going to see unbelievable action sequences. We do have those.
It's all about relationships. It's all about interaction with it, and that is the source of the story. The other stuff, that's what holds you in.
We see that as icing, and we do want to have that. I mean, the grandeur space is there, and we love very much the juxtaposition of having people in tiny compressed spaces, and then outside you've got this vastness that is impossible, to survive in, and so it's a thin filament of life that you're holding on to in these spaceships, and we like those kind of things, but the characters are, that's what you got, and that's really what the books,
And then what does it mean for you to...
Sorry, I got to pull. I'm so sorry.
Well,
you're going to get someone else.
to be here at Comic-Con?
What's that?
What it's like for you? What is it like for you?
It's like Mecca.
It's the
like going to Mecca.
It's the ultimate reward. You go together as a team. You work on something so hard, and then to be able to come here where the fans are so appreciative and supportive, and you come and you show them this thing that you work so hard on. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest feeling.